Beginning today, the Indy Chamber's Business Ownership Initiative will be pivoting its focus toward emergency assistance for small businesses.
New tonight, people who own small businesses are on edge, concerned about staying afloat and concerned about their workers. A closer look at the evolving plan to provide some relief.
Whoever needs help, we're trying to connect them to the services and to the people that are willing to help.
Working together to weather this outbreak, a unique way one woman is working to virtually connect neighbors with each other all across the city.
It's just so scary. You're trying to do the right thing, and non-essential travel.
Travelers left in the lurch with no trip and no refund. Call 6 investigates. Kara Kenny looks at what options you have to get your money back.
Our Thursday severe weather threat headlines the forecast. We'll get into the timing and location for the strongest storms.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
And now at 5, RTV6 is working together and working for you to keep you prepared, informed, and up to date on efforts to keep you and your family safe and the help that is being offered during the coronavirus outbreak. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. We want to get right to the numbers and the people affected right here in Indiana. Let's start right off with the news that the State Department reports no new deaths. It stands at 2. There are 9 more positive cases than yesterday, bringing the total number to 39. The new cases involve residents in Clark, Fayette, Hamilton, Hendricks, Jennings, Lake, Madison, and Marion counties.
And globally, there are more than 214,000 confirmed cases, over 8,700 deaths, at least 115 of those in the United States. But more than 83,000 people have recovered. That is important to note. But as the spread continues, a big change for another huge Indianapolis event. The 500 Festival announced this afternoon that the mini marathon will not take place this year on the streets of Indianapolis. The half marathon draws participants from all over the world. All 2020 mini events will move to virtual races. If you are registered, you will receive info about how to participate.
Today, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett announced the Indy Chamber is shifting its sole focus to emergency assistance for small businesses. As this pandemic impacts our local economy, the city is garnering federal resources to help our local business owners. RTV6's Stephanie Wade has more on that and the State Health Department's new partnership with Eli Lilly to increase testing.
The mayor saying tonight we are limited on a local level for how much monetary assistance the city can provide for local businesses, but they've created a rapid response hub to help.
Through free one-on-one business coaching and access to loan capital, BOI will help small business owners and entrepreneurs navigate the uncertainty this pandemic has caused.
By going online to response.indychamber.com, business owners can now access resources. In speaking with the governor, Mayor Hogsett says Indy is positioned to receive federal dollars through disaster loan assistance, encouraging small businesses to prepare and gather all documentation now to apply for federal relief. As for testing more Hoosiers for the coronavirus, we spoke with Eli Lilly executives over the phone today, who announced they're partnering with the State Health Department to accelerate COVID-19 testing in Indiana. Lilly says it will be using its specialized research labs to analyze samples taken in Indiana healthcare facilities, including nursing homes and emergency rooms. The company also plans on piloting drive-through testing to test patients outside of a healthcare facility and avoid spread of the virus.
I expect we could reach over 1,000 tests a day within a week.
Lilly says their first priority is serving the backlog of people who need to be tested. They will have more details in the coming days about where the drive-through testing site will be located. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Well, Lilly will not accept money from government agencies, hospitals, insurance companies, or patients for testing. It will be entirely free. Indiana received additional tests from the CDC last week and again this week, but officials say they still have limited resources, so they're prioritizing high-risk individuals and healthcare workers for testing as of now. Those who do not meet those criteria can get tested through a private lab with their healthcare provider.
We're seeing a major spike in the number of Hoosiers seeking unemployment benefits. From Sunday through Tuesday, there have been more than 14,300 claims statewide. The increase is blamed on the coronavirus, though not every claim is connected to the emergency. In comparison, the entire month of December and 16,800 claims. Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, with the easiest way to get your unemployment benefits.
In light of the coronavirus, it's expected that many more Hoosiers will need unemployment benefits. You're being asked, don't drive to your nearest Work One office. Instead, log into unemployment.in.gov.
To the extent that you find yourself unemployed, it's really best to go ahead and file. And like I said, read the questions carefully, answer them honestly, and let us make the decision about eligibility.
You may be eligible for unemployment benefits if you are facing reduced hours or you lost your job.
From my approach as an employer, the most gut-wrenching thing for me is having to operate with a skeleton crew, not knowing what we're looking at day to day.
So let's talk money. You can get unemployment benefits for up to 26 weeks. The maximum payment is $390 a week.
I'm having to limit the number of employees I have here. That means I've got to put others on unemployment.
But when they file, we feel that we're prepared to help and assist them as best we can.
Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
And the state reports the average payment has been $296 a week. And just into the RTV6 newsroom, Governor Holcomb will be giving another update tomorrow on the coronavirus. That's happening at 1 o'clock in the afternoon with the governor and State Health Commissioner Christina Box. You can watch the announcement live here on RTV6 and streaming on our RTV6 Facebook page and the IndyChannel.com.
Another drastic swing on Wall Street today. Yesterday's gains all wiped out and more. The Dow plunged more than 1,300 points or 6.3%, erasing nearly all of their gains since President Trump's inauguration. And breaking news this afternoon, the Senate just passed a coronavirus response measure to provide sick leave and free testing. It now heads to President Trump for his signature. ABC's Inez de la Cotera reports now from Washington.
President Trump announcing several new bold measures to help the economy respond to the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, I look at it, I view it as in a sense, a wartime president. I mean, that's what we're fighting.
Trump now invoking the Defense Production Act, which allows the government to marshal the private sector. The president is also asking Congress to approve a $1 trillion stimulus bill that could send Americans 2 $1,000 checks. If approved, the first checks would arrive April 6.
A single $1,000 check would help someone pay their landlord in March. But what happens after that?
The Trump administration also revealing they are suspending foreclosures and evictions through April as a growing number of Americans face unemployment.
Yesterday, 10,000 people applied to the Department of Labor for unemployment compensation. It gives you an idea of the scale of what we're trying to work.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin warning unemployment could reach 20% without government intervention.
No,
but today the president walked that back.
No, I don't agree. That's an absolute total worst case scenario.
Because of the pandemic, Ford and GM are now suspending production at manufacturing sites in North America through March 30th. And with many bars and restaurants closing, more than 7 million jobs are now at risk. Late today, the Senate voting on another relief bill that passed the House last week that spends around $100 billion on things like paid sick leave, unemployment insurance, and free coronavirus testing.
The nays are 8. The bill is passed.
Travel spending is expected to drop by $355 billion this year, an impact 6 times worse than after 9/11. And Macy's now announcing it is closing all of its stores until March 31st. And today's stock trading was halted again for the 4th time this month. The Dow now currently below what it closed at the day before President Trump was inaugurated. Inez de la Cotera, ABC News, Washington.
Along with bringing you the latest information about the coronavirus outbreak and the way it is impacting central Indiana, RTV6 is working for you by highlighting the way communities are working together. An Indianapolis woman is pairing people who are ready to volunteer their time with others who need help preparing for the days and weeks ahead. RTV6's Megan Singh-Torum shows you how she's helping people work together, all from her home.
Helping neighbors in need. That is the goal of this new effort. It started with a simple online sign-up sheet like this, but has quickly turned into something much larger. Indianapolis resident Alicia Baker is working to virtually connect people who live in the same neighborhood. She says there are people out there who need help with various tasks, like getting groceries. She says elderly or immunocompromised who live alone may also want someone to just call regularly and check in on them. Whatever it may be, she knows there are neighbors ready and willing to help. So now she's working to connect the two groups. People can sign up with this online form, and then she and her team work together to connect people who live near each other. She says the response has been overwhelming.
700 people have signed up to help volunteer, which is great. Right now, we've probably only had about 25 people or so that have asked for assistance, but I've been working on the back end with food pantries, in-home care facilities, things like that to help get those people connected to each other. Even if they don't volunteer through this opportunity, I've also been pushing out other volunteer opportunities for them to give back.
She says others, like Melissa Loria, had the same idea. So now they're working together to match neighbors all across the city and create lists of neighborhood resources.
While we're all trying to do this social distancing and stay in our homes and be apart from one another, it's in an interesting way bringing us all together in ways that we never have been before, but virtually, of course.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Baker says volunteers are working to be careful when they deliver groceries. They drop them off on the porch to eliminate contact. They also sanitize bags and boxes once they are dropped off. We reached out to health professionals to see if there are any additional measures you should take when delivering food. We'll let you know when we hear back. And you think things are tough here with social distancing? Wait until you hear what life is like in Italy, where many are forced to self-quarantine. The Hoosier family living through that experience overseas. That's ahead at 5:30.
And straight ahead, the coronavirus and its ripple effects on the auto industry. The impact hitting thousands of central Indiana households tonight, and what we're learning about a temporary shutdown.
And spring officially arrives late tomorrow night. We may have spring-like severe storms as well. We'll get into the timing and the threats coming up.
2020 Nissan Altima.
More businesses and workers in Indiana are feeling the impact of the pandemic. Today, Honda announced it's suspending production at all of its North American plants for 1 week. That includes the Honda plant in Greensburg. North American production will end Monday, and right now the plan is to resume work Tuesday, March 31st. The company is making the adjustment because of the anticipated decline in demand for vehicles due to the pandemic. Honda employs more than 2,500 people in Greensburg. Honda says all employees will be paid during the time off. And as mentioned earlier, Ford and General Motors also confirmed they will temporarily shut down all of their North American factories. There are 4 GM plants in Indiana: Fort Wayne, Bedford, Marion, and Kokomo. There are no Ford plants here. And Indianapolis-based Simon is temporarily closing all of its retail properties, including malls and premium outlets. There are 10 properties in Indiana, including Circle Center, Greenwood Park Mall, and Castleton Square. The closures take effect at 7 tonight and will end on March 29th. At IKEA, to the growing number of retailers to temporarily close their doors. It's closed all 50 U.S. stores, which includes Fisher's, starting today. It will continue to offer online shopping with home delivery or click and collect pickup. This service will be offered in Fisher's. The company said workers will be paid for their currently scheduled hours or work period.
Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. We're getting a break from some periods of heavy rain we saw. Some places really getting soaked out there. A gray day. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joining us now. And Kevin, you're watching more than just the rain today, but the possibility of severe weather as well.
And that primarily later tomorrow into tomorrow night. Mark, you showed the heavy rainfall. Most of this came within a 2-hour time period, just under an inch officially for Indianapolis. We're getting a break from the rain now, and I think that likely continues this evening. We'll need these breaks, and we'll get those. We've got another round tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon, another round tomorrow night into Friday morning. Then we should be done in the short term. As you look at this, most areas dry now. The rain from Kokomo back to Lafayette, that's moving north and east. We'll have additional showers. See a little broken line here from Vincennes to Terre Haute up toward Lafayette. That will continue to pinwheel through the rest of central Indiana. The warmer air is trying to lift to the north. Our temperatures tonight will continue to climb or be steady through the overnight hours. We'll hover right around 50 most of the night in Indy. It's 53 in Sullivan, lower 50s in Bloomington and Bedford. There's your rain chance. Diminishes through the evening hours. It never quite goes away, but 20 to 30% chance for rain rest of the evening and overnight. Let's talk about the second wave and then the third wave of rain with these thunderstorms. You easily see an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain before this is done. Let's talk about tomorrow. As you drive to work, dry. Thunderstorms increase late morning, early afternoon. That's the first round of Thursday storms. The chance for severe weather will go up with the second round of storms that comes in later in the day into Thursday night. This is the general risk. We've got an enhanced risk for severe storms from central Indiana, Indianapolis on up toward Frankfort, Lafayette to the southwest, and then a slight risk elsewhere. And embedded within that, damaging wind, large hail, and even tornado threat. So all modes of severe weather on the table for tomorrow, but I think it will be conditional on whether we get some sunshine to break through. So what we call the instability will not be that great, but if we can generate thunderstorms, if any sunshine comes out late in the day, that would help boost the storm's intensity. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Lafayette to Indianapolis to Seymour may have a strong storm in there. That lifts to the northeast by 4. Now we're in the warm sector. This is where we'll wait to see the generation of the last round of storms, maybe strong. 11 o'clock. There we are, 2 in the morning as we go overnight Thursday into Friday morning. We'll keep you updated on that, obviously, through the night tonight and then tomorrow. Temperatures falling through the day Friday. We start at 63 in the morning. It'll be in the low 50s when you go home on Friday. Over the weekend, we dry out, but boy, do we cool off. Only 40 degrees for the high Saturday, 44 on Sunday, back to around 60 early next week. Mark?
Kevin, thank you. Tonight, Fishers police are investigating the deaths of 2 people as a murder-suicide. Police were called early this morning to a home on Ladson Street near 126th and Cumberland Road. Officers found a 20-year-old man and a 73-year-old woman dead of apparent gunshot wounds. Police call this a family disturbance, but have not said how they are related or released their names.
Still ahead on the news at 5, coronavirus cancellations, spring break travel plans dashed. What you need to know if you're trying to get your money back.
Let's take 3 years to pay, only at Ashley Home Store.
The coronavirus is prompting many Hoosiers to cancel their travel plans for spring break and even into the summer. But some are finding it downright difficult to get their money back. Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny is digging into what your options now are.
We're getting email after email from people who say they booked vacations to get away from central Indiana, and now that they can't go, they can't get their money back. Carol Durheimer and her husband were supposed to be in Tucson, Arizona, leaving this Saturday and returning next week. But like many Hoosiers, they canceled their plans amid coronavirus concerns. But when they tried to cancel the reservation they made through Hotwire, they had a hard time getting through. They just want their $700 refunded.
That's a chunk of change.
Yeah, it is for nothing. It's just so scary. You're trying to do the right thing. And, non-essential travel.
Number one, I think you need to look at the policy that the company has in terms of refunds. Number two, you can call the credit card company and try to dispute those charges. Number three, have a little patience with some of the companies that have issued tickets or travel plans. They got caught with this also. They are trying to get a policy together. They're trying to get people so that they can service your needs. So just have a little bit of patience, but in some cases, you may not be able to get your money back.
If you can't get a refund, see if you can get a credit for a future trip. And keep in mind that most traveler insurance policies do not cover pandemics. As for Carol, Hotwire agreed to refund her about 6 days after she started trying and after Call 6 started asking questions. Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Well, Hotwire told us, quote, Hotwire follows the policies of our partners, which means any credit, refund, or change is at the discretion of the travel provider. We've been working closely with our supply partners to allow cancellations for bookings that are normally non-cancelable, and many of our partners are offering flexible change policies due to the current situation. Social distancing and good hygiene are key components in stopping and slowing the spread of coronavirus.
You may have noticed that Mark, Kevin, and I haven't been sitting or standing next to each other. We are staying at least 6 feet apart, and that is one important step that you can take.
And we can't say this enough. You should wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Experts say that's about the amount of time that it takes to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. You should wet your hands first before applying the soap. If soap and water are not available, hand sanitizer is the next best thing, but it must contain at least 60% alcohol.
It is also important to note the difference between coronavirus, a cold, and the flu. This chart from the Cleveland Clinic and CDC sums it up. With coronavirus, you could have a sore throat, cough, fever, body aches, and tiredness. With a cold, you usually won't have a fever. And the flu, you will have all the same symptoms as coronavirus, except headaches and sneezing are often common with the flu. You don't typically find that in coronavirus.
There are so many coronavirus developments each and every day, and we want you and your family to be able to keep up to speed easily. So go to the IndyChannel.com. Everything you need to know is in one place, easy for you to find.
All new at 6 p.m. It's a tough situation, but laid-off workers will need to pack their patience while applying for unemployment benefits. A closer look at the computer issues some residents are facing.
And up next on the Now Indy, an extra tip is going a long way to help Hoosiers close to losing their paycheck. The sweet surprise for a local pastry shop. You're watching RTV6.